finally during the SCL Fall Finals as well. So between those two splits, now they're here against Eager today in the semis. And in this best of 3, I'm really curious to see how Eager has adapted to Allegiance's style.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me to see ALG ban the Raw here. Eager plays the heal comps better than anyone on Xbox. They will just poke you down, reset, heal, and then siege up. They know they play it to perfection, so it doesn't surprise me to see the Raw taken off the board.
We saw Chapo yesterday with the Ao Kwang, Eager recognizing this, and with Allegiance having the first pick, Eager's not going to take any chances. They're going to take that option away from Sinosure immediately.
We saw him go off, yeah, at the Summer Finals, and it was devastating. Jingwei also taken off the board for Allegiance, just a strong ADC. Cougar very comfortable on that always, so another good ban by ALG.
And more importantly, Transonics doesn't really rely very heavily on picking his Hunter early in the drafting phase, so they allow themselves more of an opportunity to build around their core between their support, middle, and jungler, which is why we see Zeus being first picked here for Clow.
Yeah, Clow Zeus. I mean, that's one of his best gods, one of his favorite gods, and Zeus just such a potent pick in the mid lane. I mean, the damage is unreal, but you know, he builds the more utility styles. It's the little tankier, the wing blade, the helm. So good stuff coming out from Cloud.
Whatever it takes to survive against any sort of aggression from Mifflin, but now this soul pick, now I'm expecting this personally to go to Air Cougar. What about you, Zaxi?
We have seen Cougar played a lot, and Cougar really does love the soul, but we've also seen Delta Marine carry games from the mid lane as soul. So a little bit of a flex pick here, could go either way.
So Willich being locked in as well for Eager, and this kind of does fit Mifflin's style, right? He always likes to go super aggressive, super in your face like you mentioned before, and a Willich is definitely a god that doesn't shy away from such opportunities.
Oh, no, definitely not. And I expect Mifflin to be very aggressive very early. I expect to see an invade out from Eager. Expect to see him pick a powerhouse early game solo laner and invade.
And now Tyr being locked in for Wolves for the side of Team Allegiance. This is a god we haven't seen too much of yet ever since the changes occurred with his stance switch, now not needing to be leveled, and that's going to allow him a little bit more control during the laning phase, and now Athena as well.
Yeah, and Wolves' Tyr before the buff, I mean, Wolves' Tyr is insane. That was one of his best gods, and now after the buff, I can only imagine. I haven't seen him play it yet, but I can only imagine because Wolves is a monster. And
you throw the Athena on top of the mix. That's really good protection and peel, I would say, for the Zeus. You have the taunts, you have the fearlesses. It's going to be very difficult to get in the backline to disrupt Clow.
And I like to see ALG pick the globals because they like to gank Wolves early, get him a little bit ahead. So I like the globals coming out from Allegiance. I like to see one more even.
And now just to deal with this aggression from Allegiance, Gab being locked in for Eager. Jelly has been known to play this kind of support when he used to play back before the summer split as well. So it's always good to rely more on your comfort picks.
Yeah, Jelly very comfortable on this Geb. You know, a lot of times Eager drafts these late game comps. Geb, a great late game support, and Jelly knows how to peel. He knows, you know, their comms are great. I've listened to their comms before, so I like the Geb pick.
So now with Guan Yu Ratatasker being banned and Scylla still waiting on the last ban from Allegiance, it's going to be the Odin, which makes sense. Obviously, Zeus can't get out of that. Tyr has to use the ultimate. Athena having to use the ultimate, and with Eager having that next pick, very smart ban from ALG.
Yeah, very good ban here. No, you can't get out of the cage. I don't want to see it. I
get rid of it. We're done.
Yeah.
We're done here.
And then, like, if you allow the Odin to go through, now you have to build Phantom on your second relic, which is going to take away sort of options of, you know, the sprint, the meditation, maybe another shell, anything like that from your Guardians during team fights. So as a result, now Allegiance has more options for their relic choices.
I also want to chime in too. I think that ban there from Allegiance on Scylla was also a really smart one because they're not anticipating the soul going to the mid. They think that's going to go for the Hunter role. So getting rid of Scylla, and we saw how devastating Scylla could be yesterday as well. Big circles, you know, just it does work.
Especially if Jelly can find the setup for the Scylla, because you have the Cataclysm, you have the knockup. That's a lot of time. It seems like it was actually Susanoo that was banned away beforehand, but we're still waiting on the next pick from Eager. Guan Yu is being hovered over. That is a really interesting, resilient composition. You have the Geb shield, you have the Guan Yu heals as well. This is going to be scary if you're ALG.
Yeah, and like I said, Eager loves their sustain comps. They play it to perfection. they just poke you down, reset, heal up, siege up. I mean, it's just so frustrating to play against, and they just play it perfectly.
The longer the team fight lasts, the better it's going to be for Eager. Now the question is, how is ALG going to minimize the duration of these team fights? Well, that's a great all-in pick God on the Nemesis.
Yeah, we got Sinosure on the Nemesis, Transonics on the Chronos. I mean, when you put Transonics on a hyper carry, it's always scary, right? Because we've seen his potential to just flat out carry the whole game. So I like him on Chronos here. I want him on a hyper carry.
And now Habwa being last picked for Delta Marine. This is a lot of damage between this Habwa and a Willish combination.
There's a little bit of spice there in the Hebo pick. I like the Hebo pick there because the ability to just one-shot someone flat out, it's beautiful.
You got also the setup for the Awilish, right? You got the Water Sprout into the Awilish ultimate. So we're going to see a lot of hand-holding between Delta Marine and Mifflin.
Oh, well, definitely.
Yeah, and also, I mean, with that Guan Yu pickup as well, that's also going to give them really a lot to work with. I mean, this Eager definitely comes out of this one looking really, really good thus far. I mean, I don't know. Who do you guys have?
Honestly, this is too close to call for me personally.
Okay.
I got to give it to Eager slightly, though, because of the fact that they have the Geb and the Guan Yu. Their composition
Well, that's what I'm saying. They have some good gods in that.
It's ALG, though. On the other hand, they're just so talented together. They have a lot of synergy. Their comms are always on point. They're very vocal. They're, like, loud as well. So I'm curious to see if they're going to adapt to this kind of strategy and if the Nemesis for Sinosure is going to take off.
Yeah, Nemesis one of Sino's best gods. Chronos one of Trans's best gods. I'm rolling with ALG, man.
Oh, all right. A slight edge for Eager, but you got Zaxi with that ALG hype. Let's see who's going to come out on top. It's now time to send it over to our incredible casters. Take it away.
Thank you, Golden Boy. My name is Tiger, and I stole aggro and funball over here to bring you the last console semifinals for the HRX Allegiance versus Eager. How you guys feeling about this matchup?
I really like both drafts. I mean, you heard Zaxi talking on the desk there. These are a lot of comfort picks on both sides, but this Habwa locked in for Delta Marine in the middle lane does really, really well up against Nemesis. You've got that water carpet, gives your whole team slow immunity, so you're not going to be worried about that Nem ult as much. And then the knock up for a Willish and to get that shield off Nem, I really like the pick.
Yeah, and Hebo's good into the Zeus. If Zeus gets the slow with the chain lightning, Hebo can just use the carpet like you said before, and they should be able to get out easily.
Now, there's a little bit of a shaky start coming out for Eager. We saw these teams face off during the split. In week 1, Eager got 2-0'd by Allegiance, but in week 6, they came back and at least forced a split.
And remember, these two teams matched up in the SCL Summer Finals as well, and it was Allegiance who was able to take that victory from them. So these are two teams that have been around the scene for a long, long time. Two teams that have matched up a lot, but as for recent memory, it's been Allegiance usually coming out on top.
And let me talk about the elephant in the room here, the switch with Mifflin and Jelly. How does that make you feel?
Nervous a little bit. I mean, I do like Jelly in the support role a lot. I also like Mifflin in the jungle. That's what I played against the majority of the time, and it was very, very strong. But, I mean, you could talk about this fun ball. Making roster changes this close to land can lead to some awkward situations.
Yeah, and the synergy might not actually be there, and it like makes the team, you know, like I said before, it makes it weird. And I feel like sometimes it's just, you know, it doesn't work out. However, Allegiance, they beat us, they played against us and they beat us. They came to the Worlds, they didn't make it in the next stage, but sometimes it works.
That's a good point. Sometimes when you make these roster changes or roster switches and roles, you kind of go into this honeymoon period where everything feels fresh and new and it's all going really well, and that could be the case here for Eager.
You can just ride that train for as long as you possibly can. But we talked a little bit about this while they were doing picks and bans. Eager have 2 strats normally. 1 is objective control. 2, feed Delta Marine.
And and it's worked very well for them historically, but they also, whenever Mifflin's in the jungle, like to play the pressure game on the right-hand side between DeWurst and Mifflin. Now, DeWurst hasn't picked a particularly high-pressure god in the solo lane in this Guan Yu, but you were telling me, Funball, you really like this matchup into the tier.
Yeah, if the Guan Yu can just wait until level 4 and start using his 3 to clear the waves without taking too much pog from the tier, his stance got changed in the patch, so he can use it at level 1. Makes him stronger early game, but if the Guan Yu can get off into a good start without taking too much damage from creeps and from the tier, he should be okay.
Now, the biggest worry I guess I have currently is that we have a global ultimate on one team and then we have one that's lacking. How are you going to be able to make up for that?
I mean, Matt Coy's on this Athena, like they were saying on the desk, this is one of his best gods for sure. It's one that they first picked in the past, so you know he's going to be comfortable on it. But it isn't the same sort of impact global as, say, a Giannis ult or even something like a Ratatoskr ult. It's really not there to provide that big burst of damage, though it can do a lot. It's really there to just keep Athena moving around the map.
Yeah, and Athena is mainly there just for protection. She gives you extra protections when you... actually, she reduces damage taken when she ultimates, and when she ultimates, she just provides extra CC and a small amount of damage just to get out, just in case.
With Eager, Dwurst is well known for taking Guardians into the solo lane, but when he starts to rotate, how does that affect the rest of the team play?
I mean, when you pick the Guan Yu, that's what you're waiting for, is your solo laner to rotate into the team fight and make a big impact with those heals. And Dwurst has been around a long time in this Xbox scene, one of the most tenured players on the console, so you know he's going to be very comfortable on this Guan. Like we mentioned, though, the laning phase should go in his favor against the tier, but Wolves is the premier solo laner in the world on console right now, so I'll be very interested to see how well Dwurst can kind of weather that storm.
At what point do you want to see that anti-heal start to come out? Because normally we see teams build it a little bit too late.
Right, so they should build it at the second active. That's when they should go for it, because the Guan Yu is not going to be a factor until he starts rotating for those Gold Furies, which is around level 12, 13, 14 minutes in the game.
And plus, you got to wait for that Conviction heal to get leveled up. That's going to be leveled second after the Talu Assault. So I think Funball's right. You don't have to rush it necessarily. It doesn't have to be second item Brawler's Beat Stick. But by the time that Cynosure is getting around to his third or fourth item, we'll probably look to pick up that Brawlers.
Definitely. Well, going through, how are you guys feeling about predictions coming through? We always make the desk do it, but since we're stuck here, let's go for it.
It's tough because I know I've said it a bunch, but so many comfort picks for Allegiance, but I think that the draft for Eager is really well crafted. You've got the slow immunity on the Hobwa that can get you away from that Zeus, from that Nemesis. You've got the Geb shields for the Athena taunts and the tier fearlesses. This is not a game that was won in the drafting phase, so I think it's going to come down to execution in game. And right there, like I mentioned, Allegiance has had Eager's number as of late, and I think I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah, Airkuga's been around in the scene for such a long time, and he's been around in the PC as well. And he's an ADC, so I'm going to support for Eager. And like you said, Jelly is a good player. He might be the loose cannon of that team, so he could do really well or he could do really poorly.
It's really just going to depend on when we get into game to see that happen. But meanwhile, we normally don't have these really immobile mid lane mages, especially when they face off against each other. Zeus really doesn't have any mobility, and all that Hebo has is his Atlas.
It's going to be really difficult for both players, because if you make one misstep when you're these immobile mages, like you mentioned, you can just get exploded, because what they lack in mobility, they make up for in tons and tons of damage. You could see Delta Marine knock Zeus up, use that crushing wave. It could be just blow up Clow, or you could see Clow find that chain lightning, drop the ultimate on himself, and bait Delta Marine in. It could go either way.
Well, you said the magic words, Delta Marine. We actually have a bit of a video we're going to pop on to the screen for you to check out.
Delta Marine, probably the best mid on the console scene. I just think he's a fantastic player. He's very difficult to kill. Seems like a great guy, deep god pool. And we like playing him all the time.
Delta Marine, he's very consistent, very good positioning all the time, even though a lot of people say, he doesn't want to go in, but he goes in at the right time, I feel like. He's one of the harder as a jungler to be able to just commit onto.
Delta is probably the most consistent mid in the SCL. He never really dies, and he's always in really good spots, and he's hard to kill.
Delta Marine's awesome. He's like the only person who I would love to be around 24 hours a day. He's chill. He respects me. I respect him.
Delta Marine, you just always expect him to be level 20 at 5 minutes for some reason. He's at this elemental solo and them off cooldown. So yeah, he really knows how to farm and he can carry the game.
Delta Marine is really good at farming. It's very frustrating to play against him as a solo laner because he's never out of position. It's really hard to get on top of him.
Probably regarded as the top mid laner right now in the SEO. And I don't know, I think a lot of teams should fear him. As far as Eager, as players that you should worry about, that's probably their impact player.
Delta Marine is just the hard carry of Eager right now. If you don't shut him down, you're gonna lose.
Delta Marine 72. I was told he has numbers at the end of his name.
There's
I
a
don't know
lot
how
of
I feel
them
about this.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah. Listen here, man. I used to be Golden Boy 87. Okay, and I was very committed to the numbers. I believed in the numbers. I thought the numbers would take me to the promised land. They do not. The AOL days are dead, folks. Okay, and then we have on the other side here, Wolves. What can you tell me, Zaxi, about Wolves in particular for ALG?
Wolves, he's long been regarded as this great mechanical player, and he actually just hit the pro scene this year.
Wow.
He has an extremely good god pool, and he has a very annoying Loki that we've seen brought out last split. So yeah, he could play Loki, and it's very annoying to play against. I played it in ranked many times.
Yeah,
just getting one shot all game.
Some like flashes here, like some PTSD almost.
Yeah, I'm having some flashbacks, and it's a bad time. But he has great positioning, great mechanics, great rotations. Literally, just probably the best solo lane on Xbox.
All right. Well, you know what? We have a video about Wolves. I want to hear what his friends and colleagues think of him as well. So let's go ahead, take a look.
Wolves is, without a doubt, the best solo laner on Xbox.
I think he's actually like one of the best box players of all time. Like, I think he like soloed literally everyone in like NA. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say that. Like probably like he just solos people off cooldown.
Wolves is probably like the most difficult player to gank in the NA scene. It's always annoying to play against Allegiance because Wolves will get really far ahead and Sino camps his lane. We lose all of our buffs, and if we go over there, Wolves kills us too.
Wolves, he's like really quiet, but Wolves will just go off in the game and just get soloed by Watson every now and then.
Major takeaway from that video, Rippin just sounded devastated talking about it. It almost sounded kind of like you. I don't know.
You just hear that, Loki, that backstab. You hear Loki's 3, and you're just like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, I need to egg his beats. Get me out of here.
Oh, man. Well, do you agree with that consensus, though, that Wolves could be the best solo on the console?
Absolutely. He has a very diverse god pool. He always makes a lot of offensive plays that a lot of people just can't adapt to because you don't really necessarily expect it whenever he does it. So Wolves now playing the tier for this game, #1 against Aegir. It's going to be very interesting to see how aggressive he'll be now with the tier change.
Yeah, and Wolves does a great job of baiting himself. If he knows that Sino is coming to gank his lane, Wolves will fight you. Even if it's a losing fight, he knows it's a losing fight. He's baiting you, so Sino can come, and he can kill you, and he can get ahead, and then he can snowball the game. He's a very, very high IQ player, a very smart player, and just probably the best solo on Xbox, like I said.
There's so much just salt coming out. I hear it. I hear the salt from you, man.
Dude.
Which is awesome.
There's some salt.
Yeah,
There's some salt.
Well, let's see if they're going to be able, to do that against Aegir. So just, update you guys. A little bit of an issue on the stage, but we're going to get into the match as soon as possible. So don't fret. Don't go anywhere. Once again, everyone here in Atlanta is really waiting for winter is coming, essentially. A little Game of Thrones outside, but hey, it is what it is. The ice people aren't coming. Relax, folks. I'm a New Yorker. I just can't with this stuff, man.
I can't fathom it either. I come from Brooklyn as well, so
yeah, right, Brooklyn boys. It snows, and they're just like, okay, it's like 5 feet outside. Go to school, Timmy. And then Timmy's got to go to school. He might die.
Yeah, there was over a foot of snow last year, and now, George, you get 2 inches. The street's closed. That's it.
So we're just waiting this one out here, folks, but we will hop into it in a little bit. So let's go ahead and discuss a bit more about this matchup here. We see that Zeus pick early on. Zeus has been focused on the PC side quite a bit. The impact of that god has been very, very noticeable. But here it was the first pick for ALG. Going to Clow, they settled that one right away. What impact will the mid laner for ALG have, Zaxi, for the squad?
Well, this is, Cloud's signature god. It's the Cloud Zeus. He loves this god, and what Cloud does a lot of times that frustrates, you just get in the game and you want to kill Cloud. Like Aggro said so many times, you just want to kill Cloud. He just looks like a piece of meat out there, and he baits himself, he puts himself in these awkward positions, and then somehow he gets out, he lives with 1 HP, and they wind up with a triple kill, and then bam, ALG gets a Gold Fury. I don't know how they do it. They play a very unorthodox style, and a lot of it is around Cloud just baiting himself.
It's a very tempting piece of meat, Golden Boy, especially whenever Cloud plays the Zeus. Honestly, he's one of those guys that you don't want to really necessarily get closer to. He's just going to do too much damage to you too quickly.
Dare you say a spicy piece of meat?
Could be very spicy. Talking about Cloud, always spicy.
Always spicy. All right, guys. Well, the good news is that we are going to be kicking this one off in just a second. All right, and I know I've been teasing this, so don't hate me. It's going to happen one day. But, you know, we are looking good so far because everyone on the stage is working very hard to make sure that everything is set up and ready to go. We want to make sure that this is the most competitive environment possible, people. Okay, we don't want people going out there with broken controllers and stuff. You know, the B button hanging out on the outside. Actually, my first controller looked like straight death. It was the one I chucked across the building last time.
I mean, to be honest, they're playing with scuffs. I don't think these are going to break very easily.
That's true. And one great promotion, so you get some credit there. Scuff's going to send you a controller. I talked to Duncan. He's got you hooked up. 2, I agree. I'm actually a Scuff user myself. This is not promotion. I'm a Halo guy, so I live or die by my Scuff. It is like the way to go. And I remember years and years ago when I was shown the first Scuff controller, okay? I looked at this and said, this is gimmicky crap. And I just tossed it to the side. And then Duncan, the guy who like runs Scuff, he's like, no, trust me. You're really going to like this. Just give it a try. And it was like 2 weeks of just using the Scuff. Oh, man, I was destroying kids. And you know what? I'm hoping to see some more people getting destroyed here. So let's go ahead, send it over to the casters. It's game time, people. Take it away, Tiger.
It is definitely game time. Let's get into game 1 between Allegiance versus Team Eager.
Big grouping on this left-hand side early on. Cloud, I don't think he knows everyone's here. Use the purification to get out of that slow from Delta Marine, or rather Air Cougar, and that's all Eager was coming for. They got that relic out.
I think he definitely knows they were coming now. Instead, Eager gonna rotate over to the right side, start setting up some wards. That vision is so incredibly important. They want to know exactly where everybody is going. And as I say that, I'm not seeing any red blips on that right side.
2 Wraths already picked up for Allegiance, both Wolves and Matt Coy's picking it up. Are you a fan of this, Funball? Do you like the support for going Shell for that early Wrath?
Honestly, on Athena, I think it's perfectly fine. She has a taunt, and then she also has a stun after that, if she decides to use the Wrath as a stun instead. But I like the style that Eager are doing here. They're looking for the invade onto the speed buff and onto the blue buff.
It'd be nice, but they're walking right over Cynosher's ward, so they know exactly where they are. I don't know if we're going to see too big of a fight at the speed camp, though. You don't want to go in 2v3 this early on. It's very easy to lose your life.
Matt Coy's on the left-hand side as well, looking to come in and steal away this red buff. Again, he does have that Wrath.
So the Tier is going to lose farm here. He lost the speed buff farm. He lost the blue buff farm as well. That's crucial to get Guan Yu ahead early game and start getting this healing comp.
Very good for Eager on the right-hand side, but not good on the left, as Matt Coy's did manage to steal away that red with the Wrath. And you can see Air Cougar actually took about 2/3 of his HP worth of poke. Both hunters going for already adapting to the meta that we've seen the PC players going for, starting off with Shoes of Focus right off the bat. Funball, how do you feel about this as a hunter?
I think they picked it up from Atarax, so they saw the games, and they probably decided that it's a good strat.
Coming around the corner, here comes Cloud, getting knocked up twice, and then here he goes. Mifflin able to find that first blood for Team Eager. Goodbye, Cloud.
And it all goes back to the fact that his Purification are still down from before when minions spawn, but to be fair, I don't know if Purification would have helped him out enough there anyways. It was just too much damage coming out from Eager.
Probably not. Mifflin gonna hop onto Suku just to jump back. Wolves is a pretty heavy contender. Don't want to go ahead and get too overzealous.
This is exactly how Wolves likes to play. There's 2 people in his lane. He doesn't care. He's gonna walk up to you anyways. He's a bully in lane, out of lane, in the jungle, whatever.
Definitely, but early on, we already have our first blood for Team Eager, 1 minute and 33 seconds on the clock, and you can see that 600 gold lead for Eager. But Allegiance, they're just hanging back. They don't want to make any more big mistakes to give them a big jump.
So we've seen this Hebo versus Zeus matchup before, and I feel like if the Hebo will get ahead, I feel like he'll take control of the entire game, and that he should be able to. He should be able to carry the game.
And like Tiger mentioned, that's exactly what Eager's plan usually is getting Delta Marine ahead and in a really good position to carry the game. And you can see that Eager's in the lead, and then they still have their speed buff to take. They've already taken 3 out of the 4 buffs, and they've got 1 more to take. That means that lead's going to get even bigger.
And you can see Wolves earlier on, he was waffling between wanting to go after Dwarfs and Mifflin. They're both low, and Wolves knows he can take some. That's just his aggressions coming through. He wants to go ahead and take down anybody that he can to start that rotating.
And you can see Mifflin so low just because of the fact that he went for that boots rush right off the bat. The Ninja Tabai rush that we saw Adapting do, we saw Weekend do it as well. They're going for these early boots, foregoing the Bumba's Mask actually early on to make sure that they can fight as well as they can early on.
Yeah, and these invades, you don't even need the Bumba's Mask. You're looking for the steals. You need the movement speed to get out just in case you get caught as well. And if they have that, then they shouldn't be able to get caught.
Additional movement speed, additional power, and then whenever Mifflin backs, I assume we'll see him pick up the Bumba's Mask then as well.
Definitely coming through, but a little bit of aggression up on the right side, trying to take this speed buff, but it's not happening quite yet. Instead, Speed Camp more than likely going to go to Eager, but we still have Allegiance peeking around the corner, looking to start this fight.
Wolves has the Wrath, so this might go the way of Allegiance. In fact, it is going to go the way of Eager, but now Dwarf getting hit by the Fearless. Double taunt from Matt Coys. Dwarf 1 HP, finally able to die. Wolves with the Bluestone tick, actually.
Come around the corner now, put a little bit of extra pressure onto this Tier 1 tower just to make sure that Eager don't step out of place. And if they do, Allegiance will be there to punish them for it.
So I like the Transonics rotation there. He just there. He has Shoes of Focus. He's going to get back to lane anyway. So he just kept pressure just in case anything else was to happen. Ekuga just stayed in lane.
And Dwarf's actually sacrificing his life there to secure that speed buff for Mifflin. You know, knowing Mifflin, if any of you in the crowd know what he's like, you know he's like, okay, Derek, thank you for actually doing something to save my speed.
A little bit of snark there, but either way, it works out. Now, Mifflin, we were talking about him a little bit. He's on this Awilish. What is that going to be able to do for this team comp as a whole?
So it should be able to bring, well, the Hebo has the knockup, the Geb has a knockup as well. So you should be able to get easy setups for that.
It's pressure, pressure, pressure. That's the entire reason that you see it being picked up, this Awilish, so early on as well. The fact that it also takes it away from Cynosure. Cynosure very, very comfortable on Awilish. You heard Zaxi talking about the fact that he loves this Nemesis, and he definitely does, but we've seen the Nemesis not quite as successful. When the meta is very early game focused, revolving around invades, Awilish definitely stronger than Nemesis.
However, he did pick it into a Geb, and Geb struggles against Nemesis, especially if the Nemesis decides to pick up Sunder.
Very true. But we've also seen some Gebs have some success against Nemesis by shielding other people that get Nem ulted.
Dwarf's coming around the corner. Nice taunt coming through as well, but there he goes onto the cavalry charge, and the buff is going to fall.
Now double man knockup from Mifflin, looking for a 3-man knockup there from Jelly. Everyone's just hopping around. Wolves on Deltamarie on the backside, but Dwarf's gonna pick up Matt Coys on the front.
Retribution from Cynosure gonna keep him into the fight for a little while longer, but Dwarfs has no mana, and Cynosure got obliterated by Mifflin, the Feather Step. OP, and now Mifflin's still the next target coming through, but they're gonna go ahead and back off. They don't wanna go in 2v4.
Mifflin just had such a great fight there for Eager. You could hear him yelling from the stage. He's all pumped up. That's the early game of Willish power that we were just talking about. He even forced the purification out from Cloud.
I feel like Cloud played a bit too passive there. He stood behind the side of the wall, and he didn't use any of his abilities until later on.
And that's partly due to the fact that we saw Cloud invade that red buff earlier, and then he used the ult to secure the red whenever Matt Coys had already wrathed it away. So not a little bit of misplaying coming out of the mid laner for Allegiance.
And I like the fact that Eager were able to turn this aggression around, because we were talking about Mifflin. Allegiance came up, stole that damage camp, and now Eager were able to turn this around, get a couple of kills, and now start setting up the vision to start making these pressure plays on the left side of the map.
And that's the idea, is that you want to get pressure on the right side. The idea for Allegiance, though, is this Gold Fury. Deltamarie knows this is happening, has the crushing wave, hits 2. Gold Fury gets reset while Jelly picks up Coys.
And now we're going to have the dash away from Cynosure. The Gold Fury has been reset. It's going to heal back up, but Dwarfs may not be able to heal back up. There he goes. More Wolves getting credit. Gets soloed.
That's what happens, man. Like you heard Matt Coy say in their interview, Wolves just solos people off cooldown, and it's true. This guy is a beast in the solo lane.
He's making magic, and now we're going to see Wolves. At what point is the magic moment for him to start rotating?
He should start rotating whenever he feels like it, whenever he feels comfortable enough to start actually rotating. I'm assuming he's going to go Blink soon and start looking for the rotation, start getting his team ahead, start helping Chloe as well.
Yeah, Cloud definitely needs some help with the middle lane. The good news for Allegiance is that Transonics has been farming very well on this left-hand side. You still have that safety net in the late game, and you're a late game hunter.
Mifflin almost turned this corner with 3 members of Allegiance there, and with nobody to help in the mid lane, it's better to just go ahead and hold on back. But we're 6 minutes and 25 seconds into the game, 2-4, and the experience and gold are about 1,000 in favor of Team Eager.
And both these teams have late game options, so it's tough to say who exactly this favors, but the fact that you've got Guan Yu in the solo lane tells me that Eager is happy to just kind of ride this game out and wait for their solo lane to make the rotation.
I want to talk about that goal fury there, because Eager felt like they could, you know, go and fight that just with the Hebo and the Geb, which they did. They got a pick, they reset that goal fury fight, but I feel like Allegiance just didn't play that as they should have.
Oh, taunts into 2 in the middle lane, forces it, but McCoy gets knocked up, pulled in. Zeusol hits 3, but Delta Marine gonna crush him with the wave.
Time to clean up. Matt Coys is gone. Now Dwarf's gonna turn the corner. Allegiance sniff it out and decide to go ahead and back off, but they got exactly what they wanted. They took out Matt Coys, and that was just, unfortunately, he went in, wanted to make the play, wanted to set up his team, but it just wasn't there.
That's textbook what you do against Athena. You let her bait herself with the dash, you purify the taunt, and then you kill her right away. And plus, a great shell there from Jelly, taking away a lot of that damage from the Zeus ult.
Yeah, they also have the Geb for the taunts just in case. So if Athena taunts, they have the Geb shield, cancel that taunt, and then just turn on it. I think that's why they may have actually picked Hebo for the extra damage on the burst.
Absolutely. I mean, it's working out thus far. Delta Marine on top of the player damage charts, 1, 0, and 4. He's been a part of every kill so far for Team Eager. And the fact that we were talking about these roster changes earlier on, Mifflin has spent the majority of the time since the summer split in the support role, and Jelly was the jungler. But the good news for Eager is that that's still the same 3v3 core. You're still fighting with the same people all the time, and with how little laning phase matters on the left-hand side right now, it's even less impactful.
Yeah, and the team synergy is very similar when you have that
Transonics, hold on, in a lot of trouble, barely missing the burst. He's gonna be able to rewind back through, but right into the disapparating soul. Gonna try and turn this around. Nice, Transonics able to solo him from behind.
Very, very nice play by Transonics. Cougar just missing too many autos underneath that tower. He had the kill. He had Transonics dead, just couldn't find the autos.
Yeah, and when a play like that happens, Cronus, as a Cronus, you can just rewind. The Athena ult happened, and the Soul just died for that.
Very good communication there, knowing exactly. The Athena ult probably should have come out earlier to make sure Transonics didn't get so low, but it ends up working out. Transonics able to turn around on Air Cougar, now has a 2-level lead.
I feel like no matter what god you would have put him on, Transonics would have been able to make that work. He's got the widest god pool in the console league currently.
But I feel like also when you said that, just that Transonics is going to be good on any other character. Air Cougar missed a lot of AAs there, like you said, aggro, and I feel like that was on his part, and Transonics still should have died there.
I absolutely agree with that, but the good news is that Doom Orb that Transonics is building did not get reset. Talk to me about the difference between these two builds, Funball. Air Cougar going for the CDR and team sort of augment option, and Transonics is just out here trying to carry.
So Pythax gives you a lot of lifesteal and it gives you cooldown. It's going to give you more stellar bursts at the end, and when you build Pythax as well, the lifesteal is increased. I think that's a really good strat against the Cronus, because Cronus is going to also be able to poke you out as well.
Speaking about poke, there's no poke happening over in the solo lane. They just keep healing it back up, individually backing and then duking it out all over again. But meanwhile, mid lane, Eager have been putting a lot of priority onto these mid camps just to slowly build this little lead. It hasn't really snowballed into anything yet. How are they going to be able to take that next step?
It's going to be around the next time they want to fight about the Gold Fury. It's going to be pretty soon here, I think. Or we could see Eager make another invade on the right side onto the speed buff. Cynosure is still only level 9, the same level as Mifflin, but being a level 9 Nemesis is not the same as being a level 9 Awilish. Awilish very much stronger in this too.
We touched a lot on this with the last semis yesterday, but reactive play. I feel like Allegiance isn't making these steps to try and make this happen for their team. What can Allegiance do?
Just play. You can play the waiting game here if you're Allegiance, because their two carries are on the side lanes, right? It's Wolves on the right side, Transonics on the left, and so when you're losing the 3v3 fights in mid, you just say, okay, let's wait a little bit longer, let's wait for our tier, our Chronos to come in and make the big impact.
Speaking of tier, Wolves gonna look down the lane, see 3 members of Team Eager. Nice little moonlit charge, but nothing right there. Nice Fearless though. Mifflin gonna take a little bit of damage, a lot of damage, but Gonna miss that water spout from Delta Marine.
A lot of it is right, already hitting about for half of his HP. Jelly not quite there with the shield, but again, like you mentioned, mid-camp's picked up by Team Eager, and you can see how much of a difference that's made in the middle lane. Zeus pretty far behind in gold, about 400 down to Delta Marine on that hop block.
If I was Allegiance, I would also just wait until the late game or towards the mid game. Let that tier get the blink, let Transonics farm, wait until they get shard to start actually doing damage on the towers.
And another thing that Allegiance really needs to wait for before they can team fight is a shell from Matt Koiz. We saw how impactful that shell was for Jelly in the middle lane for that Zeus ult, and because Matt Koiz has gone for this Wrath, they don't have that same defensive team fight relic.
Allegiance creeping up over at the Gold Fury. Not sure if they want to go ahead and start it yet or just clear out wards, but they are looking at it. Team Eager going to be able to sniff it out 3 around. Matt Koi's going to go in for the taunt, but Cougar not going to be able to get anything. That's it. They just stopped.
It's because Mifflin is in base. That's the problem there, is that was a great time to pull the Gold Fury for Allegiance because the jungler wasn't there, and so much of this team composition revolves around setting up for that Awilix ult.
Yeah, Allegiance didn't even know that the Awilix was not there as well, which I think Allegiance should have gone for the taunt, gone for some poke. Clow has the damage right now. He has his helmet on, he has his boots on line.
We're just not seeing it yet, but Allegiance still hanging around, waiting for these left mid Harpies to come up as well. Meanwhile, Wolves, Dwarfs, nothing too big here yet, but this 3v3 in the mid lane, this meta right now, who has that 3v3 fight currently when you don't add in the healing?
Currently, it's Team Eager. I mean, they just have so much more early game damage, and the CC potential is absolutely insane. On the side of Allegiance, you've only got slows, basically. The only hard CC is Matt Koiz's taunt.
All right, then why are they not pushing that?
I mean, they have been a little bit, to some degree, invading some buffs on the right-hand side, the early fights, but I think you're right. We could see a little bit more aggression even from Eager before that Matt Koiz gets that shell.
We might see on the left side here, Transonics on the run from Mifflin and Air Cougar, but going to be quick enough to go ahead and dodge that out.
Yeah, I feel like when Eager's playing this passive with that type of comp, I think it's just they've just come on stage now, and this is their first game, so I feel like they're trying to test out what Allegiance can do. That even though they popped Clow's beads early game, and yeah.
Right, and that could definitely be a factor, and like we said, Allegiance waiting for their side lanes to come and join them because they feel like they're stronger. I think that Eager probably feels the same way. I mean, they've got the insane Guan healing in the late game, and Air Cougar on the Soul. Soul can be a hyper carry just as much as Kronos can. Both teams content to wait until later in the game.
It's just dipping your toe in the water and making sure that the temperature's right.
Yeah, definitely.
But coming through 13 minutes, 44 seconds. Haven't seen too much on the kill board, at least 3 to 5 currently. Eager still having a very small, now 200 goal lead.
But they've got the experience deficit as well, actually. You see in the duo lane right now between Transonics and Air Cougar, that solo kill. Well, not solo, with the help of Matt Koiz. That experience leads still in Transonics' favor. Air Cougar just now finishing off that Telkine's ring, going for a little bit of a hybrid build there, both auto attack and ability damage with the Pythags.
If I'm a Kronos versus Assault and being ahead, I would be in a perfectly good state, and I'd tell my team, okay, listen guys, let's just wait, chill, take a chill pill, and just wait until the late game, wait until the tier gets his anything online. So he decided to go for the teleport. I would have personally preferred the blink onto the Awilix.
They must be really oh, hold that thought. Double taunt there in the jungle. Nemesis ultimate
Mifflin.
onto Mifflin. He's already dead. Clow erases him from the map. Jelly's got nowhere to go. Transonics picks him up as well.
Where did he go? Now Dwarf's forced to dash away. Transonics is hitting hard. The rest of the whole team is hitting hard. Eager wanted to make that play, but unfortunately it just got turned on their heads. They lost 2, and now they may even lose the Gold Fury for it. Nice 2-man taunt on the backline, 2 from Matt Koiz, but he's pretty dangerously low. Air Cougar gonna be able to find it, and the Gold Fury is leashed. And there goes Sinosure.
Sinosure, it's Cougar and Dewars 2-manning right now. Crushing wave comes through. Transonics 1 HP, able to find the rewind though. Cougar still very low. Dewars fighting Clow and Dewars. Oh, double knockup onto Clow and Transonics, but not quite enough damage.
There weren't enough detonate charges, and because of that, Dwarf's gonna be able to find Clow and turn this back in Eager's favor. A 2-for-3 trade and the Gold Fury if Wolves doesn't mess that up.
Still Dewars chasing down the Wolves. Here comes the Athena ultimate. Turns around with the Fearless, but Mifflin's there, cleans him up. Big taunt from Matt Koiz, but it doesn't matter. No follow-up whatsoever. Eager are able to weather the storm after losing. Oh, Mifflin making the plays while the rest of his team making the Gold Fury happen.
Gold Fury falls, Mifflin gets the kill, continue feeding in, and look at that experience and gold differential. 2,700 experience and 2,600 gold. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a spike.
It feels like Mifflin and Jelly have the synergy down. Like you said before, Aggro, they swapped roles, and the mid synergy is still there. You could see in that team fight they were doing the job, and Mifflin's Wilix is on point.
Very, very strong. This is one of the characters when he was playing the jungle previously that he was always very, very comfortable on. And that's sometimes whenever you switch roles and you get to see it from a different perspective, and then you go back to your initial role, you're like, okay, well now I understand why Jelly needs my help in this sort of situation, and you could do a better job here. So that seems to be working out right now for Eager, up 10 kills to 5.
The tier 1 tower in the solo lane, all somebody has to go do is sneeze on it and it's gonna fall, and that will free Wolves up to go ahead and start rotating even more so, be present for these bigger fights.
Minions are able to take it down themselves, so like you said, Wolves can spend a little bit more time in this middle lane. That time Clow had the follow-up off the Athenaton. That looked like it was gonna be such a good fight for Allegiance, getting those 2 picks early on, but it was DeWurst and Cougar, really just those two fighting, but everyone else on Allegiance able to keep Allegiance off the Gold Fury.
Speaking of fighting, Wolves, hold on now, taking a little bit of damage. Mifflin's still going in hard. They want to find it. The Feather Step gonna be good. They're gonna keep going. The Fearless forcing out that purification. Still didn't work in Mifflin's favor, but they did force out Wolves' ultimate.
Yeah, and like you said before, Aggro, Mifflin got the easy kills on that, and he picked up Clow. Clow, when he used his one before that to try and slow the Guan Yu, he actually missed, so he could have gone for that option, or he could have just continued walking rather than looking back, but he actually decided to look back and he lost some movement speed for that.
Clow still making the rotation onto this right-hand side. DeWurst forcing the cavalry charge, but he's not running. He's going in, gonna do a little bit of extra damage, eat a detonate in return, but because of that conviction heal, he's not too worried about any sort of return damage. Minions return the favor on the right-hand side, grabbing up that solo tower.
Yeah, they didn't even care that the rest of the team was coming. They just wanted that tower to fall. It did. Minions took care of it, and now both the solo sides are essentially free to go ahead and start roaming, which is good for both teams, but also bad for both teams, because you're going to bring in this heal from DeWurst.
I'm still waiting for Transonics to start rotating into these fights, because that's still the hope right now for Allegiance. It's Transonics in the duo lane, 2-0 and 2, level 18, still in a pretty good position to carry this game.
Transonics had an option to split push there, but he had no wards, which is why he probably didn't know where the Sol was. The Sol rotated to mid just then, when they were all going towards the right side of the map.
Do you like this? It looks like it's going to be a Polynomicon next for Transonics. Do you think he has enough power to really make use of this passive, or would you have rather seen him go straight for the route of Tahuti?
Personally, I'm not a big fan of Polynomicon on the Cronus. I prefer a Spear of Desolation, get the 3 back up, get the Time Rift back up, and get Accelerate back up earlier.
Team Eager going for these left mid Harpies once again, just putting priority onto these smaller camps. If they're not finding these big team fights, which they are now, but earlier on they weren't, just start building that step ladder to continue moving that horrendous dip in the graph continuously in their favor. 19 minutes and 18 seconds into the game. 5 to 10, read the kills, doubling up is Team Eager currently.
And Matt Coys has got to do a better job of being aware of his engages. He's gotten some good taunts, but too often he's going in and sacrificing himself right away. He finally has that shell online, so maybe he can use that before he engages to stop some of that return damage from coming in, but right now he's half of the kills for Team Eager.
I think he knows he's going to die in the engagements. However, those 2 early deaths he had, that forced him to get behind, and he couldn't do much aside from, you know, just go in now and just die for it.
Can we look at wards placed right here? Because I'm looking over the map. They're peppered all over the place for Team Eager, but there's only really 1 or 2 presences on Allegiance that are actually putting these wards down en masse, and that's going to be Athena and Tyr. We're not really seeing the team vision that we need versus Eager. They know exactly where everybody on Allegiance is.
It's the mid-jungle combination for Eager that's really outwarding their counterparts for Allegiance. You can see Mifflin has 4 more wards placed than Nemesis, and then Delta Marine on this Habwa, 5 more than Clow on the Zeus. McCoy has been doing a great job. He's doing his part, warding the map most of the game right now, but you're right, Tiger. Without that vision information, especially with how many tier 1 towers are down, the mid lane, Zeus is already vulnerable with a tier 1 tower. Now he can't walk anywhere.
Well, if Transonics had that vision, that team fight might have gone differently, so we really need to see that in the jungle.
Gold Fury just respawning. This is where I expect the next fight to happen.
So Aggro, this roll swap, do you think it's because of the when they place more wards? Do you think it's because of that roll swap itself?
Could be. I mean, Mifflin probably didn't place too many wards before, and then he goes to support, and he's getting yelled at for not warding enough. So he's like, all right, I'll just buy him whenever I move over back to the jungle. Speaking of moving over, Doris teleporting himself into the Gold Fury pit. I don't think that Allegiance know. Oh, they do know. They do know they're going to the Fire Giant.
Transsonic's gonna show face on the left side. They take the Gold Fury, but meanwhile on the right, the Fire Giant has been started up, but Delta Marine is going to sniff this out, and just his presence is enough for them to stop.
Yeah, I'm not really sure on that call, to be honest.
Not even you like that sneaky Fire Giant?
I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, in the middle lane.
Work in the middle lane. Jelly gonna fall. Matt Coy's getting credit for it, but the Cavalry Charge is about to find a stun onto Wolves. That gives enough time for the rest of the backline for Eager to go ahead and get out before any more damage is thrown down.
Just seemed like Jelly was on a different page than everyone else from Eager. No one else was close enough to really follow up on that Cataclysm. Instead, he gets picked off for free, and even with this large lead for Team Eager, about 4,000 gold, they're gonna lose a tower here.
I mean, why not? Absolutely, to go ahead and teleport here, do as much as you can, especially since Eager went the other way.
I mean, that's the idea there, is to just give up that tower. You don't want to fight without your support. Geb's been doing so much work, just shielding away these taunts, shielding away the Fearlesses, things like that.
All right, so we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. What was that call? They didn't have enough damage or time to take down the Fire Giant. I think there should have been a fight over at the Gold Fury.
I think they wanted to force Allegiance onto the other side of the map, and it didn't work. Transonics wasn't there.
Yeah.
Transonics was at the Gold Fury.
Transonics was needed to be there if they're going to be able to burn that Fire Giant. And that's exactly what Cloud likes to do, is kind of take that misdirection and try and sneak something behind your back, but just not there. And you could tell how often Eager played against Allegiance, because Delta Marine knew that was happening right away. I don't even think they walked over a ward. I think he just knew.
Yeah, and I like to do those sneaky calls as well, but Cloud?
What? Plow calls and fun ball calls, two different styles, I guess.
23 minutes into the game, 6-10, read the kills, and about a 4,000 gold deficit in favor of Team Eager, but now about 3,500 coming through.
Cynosure barely able to secure that speed buff, and Cyno not having the impact that you would have liked in this game. Second bottom player damage right now in the game, below Geb.
I was going to talk about him earlier on. 1 second, nice taunt into Delta Marine. The good Geb shield coming through, but it might not be enough. They're going to go ahead and back off. Instead, turn their sights back to Cloud. The ultimate coming down from Air Cougar, but he is able to use that Sanctuary and get a little bit of return damage with that detonate.
Doris coming back and heal Delta Marine up. Very greedy positioning and pathing there by Delta Marine to walk underneath there on those bottom right-hand Harpies, but just trusting Jelly was going to be there with the shield. He was, and then you lose the Nemesis ultimate for it. And you also gain the Zeus Sanctuary.
Transonics is level 20. He has 2, 0, and 3, and I don't think anything is scarier other than a Freya than a level 20 Kronos with no deaths.
Yeah, and you don't want to deal with that. However, Sol is still also level 20. She has the Pythags online. She's going to get Tahuti online as well as Cronus's. So I think this is perfectly fine. I think Eager should be the ones that should force the fights. They have the Guan, they have the healer, they have the siege potential.
Jelly getting away with some really greedy positioning there, not punished, stop time off the mark from Transonics. And I agree with you, Funball. This is a great time for Eager to group up. They've got that healing. They've got that damage coming out of Air Cougar, and that Pythags piece is much more effective when you're grouped up and able to help out your teammates with damage.
They're actually just waiting for Sol to get Tahuti, I think, before they do anything. He's got 1.3k gold in hand, and Tahuti costs
1420.
Yeah.
1420 for the final piece there. You can see how much damage Delta Marine has available to him. That water spout doing quite a bit to Matt Coy's. He's got the penetration online. He's got the Bancroft's talent as well, and I'm not usually a huge fan of Bancroft's talent, but I really like it on Habwa. You can just, it's an all-in character. You can use yourself you can bait yourself with your health pool, use Crushing Wave, get in there, take a bunch of damage, and then turn around and water cannon him for a ton.
I got really excited because Allegiance in a big pack were going to look to try to invade or at least take out some of Team Eager, but as soon as just 2 of them turned the corner, they went ahead and backed off. I want to see more aggression coming out from Allegiance to try and take this game back in their favor. The lead is not near, it's nowhere near dire.
No, but there's no reason to try and force it either, I don't think, for Allegiance. You're down 3.5k, you don't have ward coverage on the right side of the map, and if you don't know when the buffs are spawning, just walking around haphazardly in their jungle is usually not going to work out too well for you.
Team Eager might also be waiting for a Wilix to actually get some proc, because Clow is on. He's got the damage now ready to one-shot. He's supposed to get the ultimate off into the chain lightning, into the detonate.
Not seeing the objective control as much coming out from Allegiance, but Team Eager are doing a very good job of at least trying to attempt that, but Wolves gonna get knocked up. No real follow-up coming through. Nobody wants to bite too hard in this 3v3 matchup into the mid lane, but Delta Marine throwing down that Atlas to at least get a little bit closer.
I do think Eager is playing this a little bit too slowly. They have a lead right now. They've got the ward coverage, and I guess the idea was to just wait for this Gold Fury to respawn, and if the Allegiance is going to give up another one for free, you can't fault them for that. Meanwhile, Allegiance starting up the Fire Giant.
Nobody even knows at this point. Like everybody is on the opposite side of the map. Instead, they're gonna stop the Gold Fury and head over to the right side where this team fight's coming through. Fire Giant about a third down from health. And Team Eager, what are they doing?
There he gets knocked up. Wolves going in with the Lawbreaker. Double Fearless gets the purification out from Delta Marine. It's Wolves against 3 of Eager.
Coming through, Dwarfs running down with the cavalry charge, running away from the Soul Ultimate as well. Wolves taking a lot of damage, looking to find the Fearless, but not enough. Cougar gonna be able to find the kill. Lots of damage coming through from Delta Marine as well, but Transonics able to purify out.
But now Transonics is a sitting duck. He only has Sanctuary, no rewind, no purification. The call there was from Wolves. He's going in whether anyone else is or not. And the call from the rest of Allegiance was, we're not going in with you, was kited them all the way down the mid-Harpy camp, all the way into the middle lane, and just never got any support.
Eager just flowing through this jungle, find themselves on the right side of the map at the tier 2 tower. We're gonna go ahead and take this down quickly because that is very useful when you have a soul.
Where did Matt Koiz just go? He was there, right? Like he had to be. Now Clow taking a ton of damage from Cougar.
Cougar taking down towers, taking down Zeus. Mifflin with the back charge, able to find it. Clow is erased.
Yeah, you can just hear Mifflin and Jelly screaming to each other down there on the stage. Those are the 2 guys who like to get hyped up. 3 dead for Allegiance. All 5 members of Team Eager looking at the Fire Giant. You can see Transonics and Sinosure just chilling around in middle lane, but they're not going to be able to contest.
Air Cougar just allowed them to get Fire Giant there. He had the damage. He picked up a Tahuti as well before that. He's ready to fight, and I'm not sure what Transonics was doing there, or Clow. Clow got picked, and they lost the Fire Giant for that.
And if the call is to give up the Fire Giant Funball, I feel like that Transonics and Sinosure could have gone and done the Gold Fury by themselves. I mean, they've got plenty of damage between those 2.
Yeah, they could have done that as well, but they just split up as well. They could have grouped up as well and just gone to mid and just waited, or they could have gone to Gold Fury like you said.
I feel like that was the right word there, the split up in that team fight. You saw Wolves go in, run all the way down like I mentioned, no support coming for him. Then Clow splits off towards the middle lane after Matt Koiz goes in to taunt off the tier 2 tower. But if the call was to give up that tier 2 tower, why is he going in and taunting? Allegiance just not on the same page right now.
Eager pulling out the stops, taking the Fire Giant, running around, taking the Gold Fury. Now we're starting to finally see this this momentum with Eager.
They're not as much of a momentum-based team as Soar. I mean, they are the pinnacle of momentum-based, but like I mentioned, Mifflin, Jelly, these dudes like to get into it. They really get excited. They can also get discouraged, so you have to be careful of that.
Yeah, well, being careful. Dwarfs popping that ultimate just to make sure he avoided any of that damage. He's by himself. There were 4 members over there. Meanwhile, he's fine being the scapegoat while the rest of Team Eager starts their assault on the left Phoenix. Nope, turn around, never mind.
I feel like Dwarfs could have kept everyone there and stopped them from backing and allowed Team Eager to secure that left-hand Phoenix. Instead, he does not do that. It allows everyone to back, and so the call is not for the Phoenix, it's for this tier 2 tower in middle.
And I mean, that's still respectable. Go ahead and take down all the towers, because sieging onto the Phoenix is one of the hardest parts about winning the game, because it's so easy to defend.
I also liked what Allegiance tried to do there. They tried to get a pick on Guan Yu. He was out of position. Obviously, Team Eager's going to look for the split, for the push, and they have the damage, they have the gold lead, and there's nothing they can do about that.
And that's something that we've seen teams do more recently. We used to see whenever a team had Fire Giant, you just kind of waited and didn't do anything until they came to your side of the map. But sometimes you'll see these teams 5-man group and look to pick off a straggler while they're waiting for the rest of their team to come out of base. I like the heads-up play again by Allegiance, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and that gives them the option to come back into the game, fight a 4v5. If they win the 4v5, they're completely in the game. The game will be completely even. Gives them a chance to to start fighting that Fire Giant again and the Gold Fury.
We passed that 30-minute mark, and we now have a very definitive lead coming out from Team Eager, and Cougar maybe able to solo Cloud here on the other side, forcing it to disapparate, waiting for that detonate to come through, popping his ultimate prematurely coming through, and now there's 3 members, a good Feather Step, a good Purification, a good Sanctuary, but it's not gonna be enough.
So they mentioned on the analyst desk, sometimes Cloud, the whole plan for Allegiance is to bait himself and dangle himself out there. Hey, come get me. My whole team's gonna come and wipe you afterwards. That was not what we just saw. That was just Cloud being way out of position by himself on the left-hand side and just a free kill for Team Eager.
I mean, it still works out though. They were able to find that Phoenix at least. There's one. But Allegiance not really able to defend. Nice two-man taunt coming through, however. Jelly taking a lot of damage very deep. He's going to fall to Transonics, and now the Phoenix still hacking away, doing a lot of damage. Wolf's going to get pulled back, however, not able to help defend.
Mifflin able to pick him up there thanks to the gravity surge. Jelly's dead, but they still have the worst there to keep everyone healthy and frontline a little bit. Cougar needs to get a little bit of space and just hit this Phoenix because it won't take long to go down.
Eager coming back once again. The second Phoenix has fallen. There's one left. They're going to go ahead and back off. They've got plenty of work done with this Fire Giant buff.
Yeah, and the Soul had the Polynomicon, he had the Tahuti as a shard. These Phoenix are not going to survive that, not even a chance.
Now, you said that you don't really like Polynomicon on Kronos, but how do you feel about it on Soul?
I think it's perfectly fine on the Soul. It used to work on her too, not anymore.
The dream.
Yeah,
when the 3 also stunned, like,
yeah,
good stuff there.
That was like a year ago as well.
That was a long time ago.
That was also really gross. Like, thank you for those horrible flashbacks. I really appreciate it coming through. 32 minutes, 22 seconds, 7-15. Eager still have that very definitive lead, and now it may be on the last leg for Allegiance. This is a best of 3, but still, you want to start off with the strongest foot forward.
So you can talk to me about a little bit about this fun ball, because I'm looking at Transonics right now. 3-0-3. He's full built. He's got all 6 items. But he hasn't died yet, and yes, that's a good thing, but in some ways, it's also a bad thing. I mean, I feel like Allegiance needed to take some risks at some point in this game. Let Transonics try and make a play, go real deep, and try and wipe the team by himself. Have you noticed anything like that with Trans?
I feel like Cloud has been getting caught way too often, so they should just focus on Transonics. Let Transonics try and carry the game. Give him room. That's what Wolves should do. Just give him room to breathe. Get that damage off. He has the Aegis, he has the ultimate to get out. If he can get that in time, then he should be fine.
This could quite possibly be the nail in the coffin for match 1. Allegiance versus Eager. Second Fire Giant on the side of Eager. There's only one Phoenix left. All 5 members are ripped, roaring, and ready to rumble.
Both waves are pushed up of fire minions, with the left one seems to be sneaking by right now. You can see Dewars picking up that wave in the middle lane, is making sure that Eager is going to have as much pressure on that Titan as possible. They don't even need to fight Allegiance here, realistically. They just need to wait for their fire minions to push in the base, wait for one of the members of Allegiance to go and defend their Titan.
And they took down the left Phoenix too, so if they decided they wanted to do anything on the right side of the map, the left and the mid Phoenix, that's why we didn't see any kind of anything retaliation-wise from Allegiance, because you're stuck with those fire minions.
And this is the time where it just...
Nice ultimate coming through. Wolves with the Lawbreaker, gonna get pulled right back in. Delta Marine able to help find that kill. Wolves is going to fall. Mifflin getting credit for it. Matt Coy's looking very low in the middle of this entire fray. One more hit and he's gone, but so is Dwarves. He's gonna fall. Cloud getting credit for it, saving his teammate. Mifflin incredibly low, and he's gonna fall. Transonics, we're finally starting to see that name come up. Cloud for the double kill, and that is the failed assault. My goodness.
Just way too many ultimates burned on Wolves and Matt Coyce. Those are the 2 targets that you don't want to be dumping 4 out of your 5 ultimates on. Doris never even got a chance to use his, so every ultimate in that fight was attributed to a tanky target.
And Transonics finally came online. He got the damage off Hebo. You saw him yourself. He got completely melted. However, 3 Phoenixes are still down, even though 1's coming up. And there's only a few teams that have done this. It's in the defense.
It's a tough task to take on. I mean, you look, even though the Titan took about half its HP during that engagement, left Phoenix about to respawn, so Transonics defending that. And that's the thing, is that Hebo-Kronos matchup is so volatile, because if Hebo's able to hit the water spout, he can kill Kronos before he can land and hit the rewind. But that water spout misses, Kronos just gets free reign.
So 95% of the game, Kronos versus Hebo. Kronos should generally lose, However, if Cronus can get one A in or one time stop, then the Hebo should be completely out of that 1v1 potential fight.
And we saw it right there at the end. I mean, Delta Marine was one of the last ones standing, and he took his first death of the game, courtesy of the damage from Transonics, and I expect him to look at Transonics again in this next team fight, because that was the path to victory for Allegiance. The problem is like we mentioned, they win that team fight finally, first one in a long time, but their Titan takes so much damage they can't afford to have that same thing happen again.
Two birds are back up for Allegiance. The defense is getting a little bit easier for the boys in blue. 10-16, 36 minutes. Now going to be pushing 37 here in just a few seconds. But looking at this, the only silver lining that I can think of is the fact that Air Cougar did not die in that fight. So he's still going to have that Fire Giant. He's going to be that primary melter.
Only for another 57 seconds, though, so they got to make it happen right now. Both of these Phoenixes are weakened, and like Funball mentioned, they have the Polynomicon. Double taunt there into the Wallbringer. Cataclysm comes down, but so many players are low. Double Fearless. Clow able to pick up Jelly.
And now in the backline, Air Cougar can't get a single thing done. He's just forced to disapparate out of the fight. Dwarst slowly healing him back up, but now this is when Allegiance realized they can keep chasing them out. Transonics wanted to go in, but instead probably a team call to just go ahead and back off. We've already chased them out twice.
And you got to defend this right-hand side from these fire minions. One wave could put your Titan down to dangerously low levels, and that's another fight where Jelly just gets picked off a little bit too early there, Funball.
Eager needs to be careful there. They did get the Phoenix there, but they just need to be careful because, like you said, Jelly died way too fast, and he just needs to sit back, I think, because the tier altered. They definitely saw that, but they had no reaction towards that.
And you can see Jelly actually selling his 6th item and picking up a Magi's Blessing instead. He's saying, I'm done getting taunted. I'm done getting fearless. I'm kind of sick of it.
I mean, CC is incredibly important in these big team fights, especially like knockups. You're not able to really get out of those unless you purify at the exact time, and most of the time that's not able to happen. Mifflin barely dodging a good chunk of damage coming out from Transonics. That would have been bad.
Allegiance feeling confident enough to walk all the way up to the Fire Giant, but they do have a fire wave of minions in both mid lane and right lane to take care of. Jelly rolling back towards Fire to try and save the team there. Fire Giant going to be spawning in about 20 seconds.
Matt Coy still around the corner, just making sure nobody else wants to try any cheeky plays while the rest of his team backs off. Now that that's gone, the right side of the map is still wide open if Eager want to take a third Fire Giant.
Do you expect to see Allegiance try and defend this Fire Giant, Funball, or do you think they'll give another one up?
I think they should give it up. They still won a team fight, even though Eager had the Fire Giant themselves. And what they should do is just get those Phoenixes back up and look to force after that.
Well, Wolves disagrees with you, Funball. He's going in. He's got that Wrath up. No Fire Giant pull quite yet. They've reset it. Wolves taking a big chunk of damage right off the bat. He's lucky that Mifflin actually did use Gravity Surge there. I didn't see that. Mifflin popped it, trying to get the pull off there. So the fact that that ultimate is down really hurts Team Eager's engage.
And that's the blood in the water. Now, nice two-man knockup coming through. Eager on point there. Good knockups coming through as well. Matt Coys, though, all of this is being used on these tanky targets, so it doesn't necessarily matter because he just soaks it all up.
Again, Eager content to wait it out, though, because they've got these fire waves pouring in. They can see on the map now that Transonics and Sinosure are both retreated a little bit to make sure they can defend these fire waves, and it looks like a full retreat coming in from Allegiance. The third Fire Giant of the game gonna go the way of Eager.
They're gonna completely back off, and I like that call just because these Phoenixes, that's what's keeping Allegiance in this game right now. They're able to hold them off at these Firebirds, and that's just the best chance that they have right now. They've taken Eager down twice with the full team with Fire Giant.
Looks like the right-hand Phoenix is the call right now, and I like it because that's the wave that's the most pushed up between the two. Mifflin's ultimate is back up already thanks to the CDR from Jotun's Wrath and that Mantle of Discord, so he's going to be looking for that Gravity Surge ultimate this time.
But they're ready to look and knock down the door. Transonics around the corner. He's been waiting for the right moment to come through. Matt Coy's dashing, finding the taunt. Transonics joining the fray. Delta Marine using the ult, but it's not going to be enough to take anybody out. He's going to get pushed. Wolves gets credit for the kill. Mifflin looking very low on the other side, and Delta Marine has fallen.
Another successful defense by Allegiance, and that's thanks to that. Oh, Trans is still going right now all by himself, forced to rewind.
Trans don't care.
Only Trans, dude. Only Trans makes that play. It's only him. But that's the kind of scene that we've seen from him time and time again. That assassin-like positioning that he likes to do, coming around the backside, right in the middle of the fray. I love that play from Transonics.
So third time was definitely not the charm. What do Eager need to change? They get these objectives, but what are they going to be able to do to break into this throne room?
They had no wards there that's how Transonics got from behind, and Transonics there, he did a really well, you know, he did a good play. And what else he should have done there was he should have just waited. He didn't have to chase there. He didn't have to use his ultimate. He could have just fell them back, and he didn't. But
and now because Delta Marine is dead, Allegiance feeling a little bit more full of themselves, going for this tier 2 tower middle. And this is not very important as far as gold gain goes, but this is extremely important in this game because this opens the door for Allegiance to win the game with a deicide. If they're able to find 4 to 5 kills with the tower damage that Transonics has, they can march up that mid lane, knock down the mid Phoenix. This exposes the Titan room from Eager.
And at this rate, that's looking more and more likely because Eager have tried 3 separate times and it has not worked. So Allegiance are realizing they're actually still in this 41-minute and 32-second game.
It's just the composition for Allegiance is so good at defending sieges. You've got the Zeus ultimate that you just cannot pass, basically. Even with the shell formed from Jelly, it hasn't been enough. And in fact, Eager deciding to push this without Delta Marine having any relics at all, or Jelly. Both have all 4 relics are down between the 2 players.
That's very risky, but they're waiting for it. The Phoenix is about half health, so it's not going to be that hard to take it down, but you do have 4 level 20 Allegiance members that are ready to go ahead and rip you a new one. Cloud coming around the side, but Mifflin not going to fall for the same trick twice.
This time, making sure they have ward coverage in the jungle. No opportunity for Transonics come around the back.
Wolves has played this really well. He's been getting those double fearless combos and those triple fearless combos, which allows Transonics to get space.
It's been a very close game, but here come the minions and Eager ready to find that opening, just waiting for the right opportunity. Meanwhile, Allegiance setting up Cloud on the side once again. I don't know if he realizes they have wards. It's not going to work. He wants to take Delta Marine by surprise, though. Here it comes. Matt Coyce with the dash, getting absolutely obliterated. Is Delta Marine Cloud able to find the hit once again?
Now Wolves still chasing, knocked up by Mifflin. Delta Marine just not getting the protection that he needs, but that time he dies with both relics available. I liked the idea from Cougar. Throw the Stellar Burst around the wall, create a little bit of space for yourself, but the one auto just not quite enough damage to kill that Phoenix.
And this is the same thing that happened with the most recent one. They took down Delta Marine and Eager scattered. They back off.
Yeah, Eager fell for the same trick again on the same side of that map. And they really need wards, so that doesn't happen. Allegiance is literally getting back into the game just because of that.
Wow, it looks like they're going to try and siege down this middle Phoenix as well. A lot of defensive relics still available. Transonics pops the 2-man taunt, finds the worst. Those aren't the targets you're looking for, though. Nem ultimate on the left-hand side onto Mifflin. Transonics getting very low thanks to that supernova, but the rewind is on point.
The Blessing has been popped. Nice stun coming through, but he can't get the damage. There he goes. Cougar is going to fall to Transonics. The first Phoenix has fallen. They're looking for the Titan. They don't even care.
Delta Marine going to be up so soon. Allegiance, could they complete the comeback? Zeus trying to do the damage. Jelly able to pick up Matt Coy's Titan, falling about the half health. That Dewars fighting around the front side. Cloud getting very low. Featherstep going to finish him off. Eager hold the Titan.
Nobody's on it anymore. Cynosure is running. Jelly able to close the distance. Transonics still there, going to get knocked up and just absolutely destroyed. He's gone. I couldn't even cast it. He's just gone.
Wow, what a game. Eager find 3 kills around their own throne room. They lose Cougar in the process, but they're in a good position now.
This is a game of throws.
Yeah.
Honestly. Team Eager have the chance to win here as well. They could just go right into that mid Phoenix and just end the game.
At this point, there's only 2 members of Allegiance up for at least another 30 seconds. Wolves and Cynosure, if you could just get rid of them or get rid of one of them, like what may be happening right now. Cynosure forced to dash away. Durst on the chase and second to turn around back onto Wolves. The Phoenix is about to fall here in just a second, and that opens up the Titan.
Respawn timer still very long, but that's a lot of ultimates used. They're going for the Titan. Dwarfs over the top there. Wolves with the Fearless towards the fountain. The shield from Jelly's good, but the Titan isn't taking any damage.
It's not going to be enough if they keep ignoring it. Dwarfs is going to be able to take out Sinosure. Delta Marine very low. The taunt going to be good. He's one hit away, and Wolves going to be able to find it.
What is happening right now? They just can't end the game. Now it's Eager on the back foot, running away from the Titan of Allegiance. Oh my, that's just insane.
Guys, I know I work in the medical field, but do not make me come down there because y'all keep choking and there's nothing I'm gonna be able to do for you.
Just back and forth, man. No way to do it. And I don't know about that call fun ball because they went for the Phoenix they went on the middle lane where Allegiance already had the Phoenix. If you're trying to end the game all out, I think going for another wave where you didn't have to deal with those fire minions would have been the better call.
They could have gone for another Phoenix, but also Delta Marine was focusing the players rather than focusing the Titan as well.
Well, focus is now on Fire Giant. Allegiance trying to take this down, but on the other side, Transonics is going to get taken out by Mifflin, and that is very, very bad for Allegiance. They're going to stop. Matt Coy's lacing it down. Harry comes down. We're going to listen in with Eager as they take down the Fire Giant. Want to close this game.
Kill him. I don't think you can chase him. I have speed. In the game. I'm just going to help. You, Jolly. Let's go. I'm coming to you guys. Careful, Cougar. Okay. Cloud's right here. Be careful. That's just one down. Tier's gonna be backing. Should we take down more Phoenixes first? Should we get the Phoenixes? Get the Phoenixes. I'm going left. We can hit. No, we can hit. Two are down. I'm not there yet. We'll get the Phoenix while you guys come. Yeah. Okay. I'm coming. I'm like almost soon. Be careful. No, you're fire. Just don't get poked. I'm here. Wolves. All right, push. I'm on Phoenix. Careful, Zeus. His Soul Reaver's down. Push it. Get on fire. No, get on fire. All right, end the game. Middle. I have shell. Yeah, show me. I shielded the wrong person. Cougar's gonna die. We need to back up. You guys have to back up. Get right. I don't have ult for 5. I have shield 4, 3, 2, 1. Help him. Try to help him. Right, they're gonna chase. They're gonna try to end. That's my bad, Cougar. I'm sorry. I needed that shield. I know. Our Phoenix will come back up. We'll defend. Oh my God!
Phoenixes and Fire Giants abound in that Steel Series. Listen and Eager not able to close out the game as wanted.
They couldn't make a decision. They just could not make a decision. Some of them were calling for the end. Some of them were calling for the Phoenix. Funball, what was the right call there?
I feel like they should have either stuck with one or the other. They need to take a 1 second, just literally all they need is 1 second and decide on one call.
They just couldn't decide. Yeah, taking down all 3 Phoenixes, though, to be fair, they've been in that position before. They've had all 3 Phoenixes, and they weren't able to end the game still. With that, we're now at 48 minutes, an absolute slugfest between Eager and Allegiance.
Golden experience doesn't necessarily matter at this point anymore. It just comes down to bare bones Smite. How good are you at your role? How good are you with the rest of your team?
And you can hear right there, Cougar really needed that shield from Jelly, and the fact that he's just back in that support role and maybe not as practiced on those mechanics, it could have contributed to that fact. Cougar screaming for the shield, Cougar screaming for the shell, didn't get either one, is able to get picked off.
Yeah, and that was lack of communication, like I said before. They had split comms as well. One was calling for the end, the other one was calling to back off, go for the... Someone called Fire Giant, but the Fire Giant was already down as well.
We're all confused now, man. The players, the casters, no one knows what's happening in this game.
Well, I know what just happened. The middle Phoenix came back up, which is another tick in Allegiance's favor in this almost 50-minute game. It has been a slugfest of emotions and throws and chokes all around, but eventually it's going to come down to one of these teams finding that special moment.
Very important that the 2 damage dealers, Delta Marine and Cougar, don't have Fire Giant for this push.
Coming through, nice Lawbringer. Let's go ahead and listen in with the Legions as they try to defend.
The healing. Look for Hebo and Soul, guys. 5, 4. Wait for time. They're playing passive. Wait. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. I'm good on Soul. Yeah. Look for Soul, guys. Soul's the only one that can push it. It's okay. I'm pushing right. Care. I'm gonna bait push right. I'm gonna bait it. I'm gonna go for the Soul. Look for Soul. Yeah, look for Soul. I'm going now. I missed the fuck. I have got. I gotta wait something. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. fuck?
Sorry.
I'm out. I need to heal.
We need different time.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm up at 70.
We need to give up Phoenixes.
Yeah, give up left. They're gonna look to end. Give up left, that's alright.
Chance back out. That's what it is. Sorry, man.
Allegiance not able to save their Phoenix in that Steel Series. Listen in, and now Eager are barking at their door. They have no Phoenixes remaining, as all that's left is the Titan. Wolf trying to keep it out. Cougar gonna fall, but it's not gonna be enough. They're gonna be able to take this first game for themselves.